Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Anti-Claus. A friend of mine asked me to put together this video kind of thing. So I decided why not put it together and actually share it with you folks out there. Maybe some of my other friends can actually find usefulness for this. But what this is a tutorial, a quick tutorial. I'm going to be very simple about it, very plain. As plain as I can be, but very brief, on how to make it so that OBS records your gameplay video and audio completely separately, as then you can use Audacity to record just your microphone and your like Skype conversations or Discord or anything like that. I'm going to use Skype as an example, but it should be easy enough to do it with other things. The first thing you're going to need is a virtual mixer program called Voicemeeter Banana. You don't want regular Voicemeeter, you specifically want Banana. I'll put a description thing down below in the descriptions for a link to where to find it. It is a completely free program. It's sponsored by Donationware. I'm going to donate money to these people. I really like their program. I like what it does. It's simple to use, but it is for the most part completely free. And when I say the most part, I mean it's free. So what you're looking at here is essentially a virtual mixer. It's got 3 hardware inputs, 2 virtual inputs, and then it has 3 hardware outputs and 2 virtual outputs. I have my mixer that's connected to my microphone. My microphone connects to my mixer connects to the computer. That is my first hardware line in. That is what you're hearing right now, is this right here. And then over here, I've got 2 virtual inputs. Now I've got my Skype set to listen to my microphone. So Skype listens to my microphone. All my friends hear my voice coming out of my microphone. But then the output for Skype, me hearing them, me hearing, stuff, notifications from Skype, all go out to the virtual input VIO, which is the first virtual line. There's VIO and there's auxiliary. So Skype outputs all of its audio to virtual line output VIO, which on this is this line right here. Now, I've got this set to output any of the audio from this input into hardware output A1, which is hardware, the first hardware output. That's set to my headphones. So I can hear everything my friends say. I can hear everything that comes through out of Skype. But then I also have it set to a virtual output line 1. This is what I also have my microphone set to, and when I go over to Audacity, I have it set to record virtual output line 1, virtual output VIO. This way, all the audio output coming from Skype and my microphone itself are all going to the same virtual output, which is the thing that Audacity is set to record. So this recording up here is purely my microphone and anything coming through of the audio output for Skype. Audio input for Skype is still my microphone. Other stuff I still use my microphone. That way they're getting my raw, uncut microphone. But any of the stuff that Audacity records is the output from Skype or whatever program I have set up to output to this and my microphone. Now what you do then is you set your default audio playback device to Voicemeeter auxiliary, which is your Voicemeeter's second virtual line in. So your default system audio, which is also where all your games and stuff, pretty much everything else that in this case isn't Skype or anything I don't have set to go to this one, is going to output to the default Windows audio device, which I have set to this Voicemeeter auxiliary. Now the Voicemeeter auxiliary is then set to go to my headphones, because obviously I want to be able to hear it, which is A1, this hardware output 1. And I also have it set to go to a virtual output 2. I don't actually know that this is necessary. I think I probably just set it that way for some reason. And then over in Skype, or not Skype, OBS, you just make sure that, your audio for this is set to Voicemeeter auxiliary input. So this is recording anything that's going to my default Windows audio, which is just gameplay, just system sounds, just stuff like that. So now my OBS will record whatever it is I'm actually looking at and whatever it is the system is hearing. But OBS is not currently recording my voice. It won't record Skype or anything else I have set to that virtual input one. But I'll still be able to hear everything because I have everything set up to also go out to my hardware output one, which is my headphones. This is also super handy to note that you notice there are 3 hardware inputs, 3 hardware outputs. You can set these to be 3 different microphones if you have multiple microphones, without the need of an actual like hardware mixer that has multiple microphone things. I think you can actually hook up, like if you had them, 3 different mixers with 3 different microphones hooked to those mixers, or if you had, you know, a different variety of audio input devices, you can actually like run like, you know, a CD player or something into one of your headphone jacks, like a 3.5 millimeter jack, or even a 3.5 millimeter like headset microphone, and set it to one of these. For the hardware output, this is also handy if you have 3 different sets of headphones plugged into 3 different jacks. You don't need a splitter. You can just set different hardware outputs on that. If you're, you know, say for example, using an emulator to record like an old SNES game or something like Secret of Mana, and you have 3 people playing with you, you can set up 3 different microphones and 3 different headphones so that each one of the headphones has different audio out. And if you wanted to, you could even use these so that, you know, person one's microphone goes to headphone 1 and 2, but not their own, so they don't hear their own voice. You know, their microphone gets recorded to Audacity, goes to headphone 2 and 3, and then microphone 2, person number 2, their microphone volume goes, voice goes to, recording in Audacity, as well as headphone 1 and 3, so that they can hear them, kind of thing. Like if y'all have noise canceling headphones, that kind of thing. That way you're pretty much able to talk to each other, very similar to how, like, pilots talk to each other in like helicopters or jet planes, where you're on a closed audio system. That's the kind of thing you can really do if you want to. But the major basis of this is my microphone. This is where all Skype audio goes to. This gets recorded through virtual output 1 to my Audacity. So all my commentary, including friends' commentary when I'm playing with friends, is one separate audio track. And then over here, I've got my normal default audio stuff coming in to this line here, which I also listen to on my headphones, but that's what OBS is set to record. So all that is separate. Also, on that same bonus note, you see over here I have this -20 for hardware output. I can adjust how loud my headphones are independently of any of my recording volumes. I can also adjust independent recording volumes. I've got this actually set up so that any of my stuff from Skype comes through at relatively the same audio level as my microphone, so that hopefully it will be almost indistinguishable that we're actually in separate rooms, kind of thing, or separate locations, that I'm not overpowering them and they're not overpowering me. Stuff on their end might vary with that, of course, but for at least a baseline, this is how that do. I hope this video is useful to absolutely anyone ever. I had to record this like 3 times because I kept messing up, and then I realized I didn't have the mouse set to go. So yeah, this is the first and possibly last DIY video I'll ever do. But seriously, I really like Voicemeeter Banana. It makes a lot of recording stuff super simple and made getting into doing some of this stuff a lot easier for me, because now I can adjust audio for Audacity and any of my commentary stuff completely separate from gameplay audio. I might later do a tutorial on how to do quick editing for like actually putting stuff together and syncing stuff up, but there are a ton of videos out there already for that, so I probably won't. With that all said, I hope you bared with me through all of this and understood anything I said. If you didn't, please ask in the comments and I will explain everything to the best of my ability. I am not a professional. I am just somebody who spent an afternoon figuring this out on their own. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much and have a great day.